Hey, you guys, how are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I want to welcome each and every one of you to my podcast. As you all probably know by now, we are rebranded and moving forward into the fundable by design concept. We chose fundable by design because we knew that if you understood that your nonprofit organizations are designed to generate revenue by design, your nonprofit organizations are not only to provide amazing programs that impact and benefit your community, but by design, your organization is designed to allow your community to have a place and an option to put their tax dollars, right? So, as a tax exempt organization, by design, you are designed to be fundable. All right. So I want to welcome you to the podcast. I want to welcome to those of you that are joining on my YouTube channel. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for your comments. All right. Today, I want to jump into something that I think is a very important conversation. And I'm really looking forward to having it with you and getting your feedback. All right. I have been talking about your organization's starting, right? There's this idea of starting your nonprofit organization, but really not thinking about long term, thinking about long term sustainability, thinking about long term support, thinking about long term cost, right? So, this long term concept has been missing from many of your thought processes, many of your decisions, many of your approaches to the nonprofit process, which is why most nonprofits stay in year one for 5 years. I'm going to say that again. It is for this reason that most nonprofits start and remain at the startup phase, remain at the place of we're trying to build, we're trying to grow. Jen, we started our nonprofit, but we're stuck. You stay within that year one concept of startup, not moving, not growing, not scaling, right? And you stay in that place year after year after year after year. And I want to talk to you about why that is. That is a mindset. Hear me now. Most nonprofit organizations start and then struggle. Why? Jen, we don't have enough money to grow. Jen, I need a grant to do the program. Jen, I don't have enough money. Jen, I'm paying for everything out of my pocket. Jen, I can't find board members. Jen, funding is my biggest issue. Jen, I can't find donors, right? But you start and you stay and remain in that year one mode of being stuck. You stay within that year one mode of trying to build, trying to develop, trying to scale, trying to grow. And that goes on year after year after year. I cannot tell you the number of people who get in my inbox and say, Jen, I've had my nonprofit for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years more. I've been paying for everything out of my pocket. We've not scaled. We've not grown. We're still in the startup phase. All these years later. Why is that? What is that mindset? I'm going to tell you what it is. It is the mindset of program first, structure later. I'm going to say that again for the people in the bushes. It is a mindset of program first, structure later. There are nonprofits that have been operating for 3, 4, 5 years, and they are still financially unstable. They're still grant dependent, but underfunded. Jen, I'm waiting on a grant. Jen, I'm waiting on a grant. Jen, I need a grant. The founder, the person who started the nonprofit organization, is exhausted because you're doing everything by yourself. Jen, I'm running the program. Jen, I'm running the organization. Jen, I'm having to learn how to write the grants. Jen, I'm trying to figure out how to do the CRM. Jen, I'm running the board. You're doing everything. Jen, I'm funding everything all by myself. You're exhausted. Your board is not engaged. Jen, I got board members, but they're not engaged. Jen, I can't find board members. Jen, my board members are not able to help me. You're unclear on your numbers, how much things cost, where money comes from. You are technically an organization that has been around for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years more. But structurally, you are still year one. No, Jen, we don't have a budget. No, Jen, we don't have a fundraising plan. No, Jen, we don't have any financials. No, Jen, I don't know what our impact is. No, Jen, we don't have a plan or a strategy to sustain the organization. No, Jen, there is no structure. No, Jen, I'm not able to delegate. No, Jen, I don't have any help. You've been doing the program for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years more, paying for all of it out of your own pocket. So you've had your nonprofit for a while, but structurally, you are still operating in a year one phase. Why is that? Why is that? That's because you built activity. You built the activity. Jen, we help the homeless. Jen, we feed the youth. Jen, we're doing mentoring. Jen, we're doing the ministry. Jen, we're feeding the homeless. Jen, we're passing out P&J sandwiches. Jen, we want to do a transitional house. Jen, you want to do all these activities. That's what you built. You built the activities. Jen, we're doing the workshops. Jen, we're doing the mentoring. Jen, we're doing the sports program. Jen, we're helping the youth. Jen, we're helping people get housing. Jen, we're giving away clothes. You built the activity, but you never built an administrative entity. You never built the organizational structure, strategy, plan to operate. You didn't build that. You never built the administration. You never built those systems that are designed to bring in the relationships, to bring in the money, to bring in the community awareness. You never built that. You never built your communication strategy, your fundraising strategies, your donor acquisition strategy, your fundraising strategies. You didn't build no sustainability plan. You didn't build any of that. And that is why you are still operating as if you are near one. That's a mindset. That's a mindset. I want to be clear now. The mindset behind program first, structure later. Program first, because that's where your passion is. You're not lazy. You're not irresponsible. You're just misinformed. And you are emotionally driven. Come on with me now. I'm telling the truth. You hear me? You are emotionally driven. Jen, the program is my passion. Jen, I feel good when I help the people. Jen, this is my passion. Jen, this is my burden. Jen, I want to do this in honor of so and so. Jen, I started because of what happened to me, and because of what happened to me, Jen, I want to help people. Jen, I want to make a difference. Jen, I want to meet a need. You are emotionally driven. Good intentions, good intentions, but good intentions does not replace infrastructure. Good intentions does not replace the structure of your organization. You can't replace it. Here's what's really happening psychologically. Psychologically, you have decided that the important work, the work that you want to focus on, is the program work, the activity work, because you feel fulfilled. You feel like you're making a difference. So you feel like I'm doing something that is productive. You feel attached to the faces, to the experience, to the result of your doing, right? We call you all altruists. You all are altruists. You feel good by helping. There's a gift in the Bible that's called the gift of helps, right? You just feel good by giving back. You feel good when you're able to help people. You feel good when you feel like I made a difference, right? You feel accomplished. You feel that reward of knowing I changed somebody's life. I made someone feel better. I was a part of the result and the benefit. So you are driven by that emotion, that adrenaline of I'm doing it. I'm busy. I'm seeing the result of what I'm doing, right? So you're all in it. You're helping, you're benefiting, you're changing lives, you're creating. Your hands are making a difference. That's your good intention. All right. However, that's not a nonprofit organization. Psychologically, you started a nonprofit organization. And what's really happening is you believe that your cause to help young people, your cause to help seniors, your cause to do transitional life, your cause to help those who are aging out of foster care, your cause to help the homeless, right? Your cause equals I'm now qualified to get a grant. My cause, my what makes me feel good, my doing the work, my heart, my intention equals qualification to get funding. This is the belief. Now y'all can argue with your mama, okay? Y'all can argue with your mama, but I've been doing this for 40 years. And it is coming to me that your underlying belief is if the need is real and if my heart is pure, then funding will come, right? Because somebody said, start a nonprofit, you can get a grant. And you think, oh, I can start a nonprofit. I can give back to my community. I can help the homeless. I can help the elderly. I can build a school. I can mentor people. So my heart is pure. The need is real. And if my cause for helping others can just be recognized, then funding will come. And this belief is reinforced. Come with me now. This belief is reinforced by what? By stories, viral stories of small nonprofit organizations getting large grants. Jen, I heard, that I heard this new nonprofit, they new nonprofit, Jen, and they not even doing as much as we're doing. But they just started, and I heard that they got $7 million. They got $7 million, Jen. So you hear this story of a small nonprofit getting large grants, right? And you're like, all I got to do is start me a nonprofit and start doing my program, and I can get a large grant. That's reinforced. That has reinforced your belief. It has reinforced your belief that all I got to do is fill out the paperwork and I can go to grants.gov and the government, because I heard the government got a whole lot of money. I heard that if I got a DUNS number, I heard that if I got on SAMS, that I can get a government grant. That's reinforced. You might have even heard motivational content that says, just start your nonprofit. Just start it. Just start. And so you're thinking, okay, I'm going to start doing my program. I'm going to start doing the activities. I'm going to start doing it and get my name out there. I'm just going to start and then work to get my name out there. Then it's reinforced now by these social media narratives, these people who ain't never run no nonprofit, who've never worked in a nonprofit, but they glorify the hustle. They glorify the hustle. They glorify the grind. You just got to keep showing up. You just got to keep showing up. You just got to keep at it. You can't give up. You can't give up. You just got to keep going. So they glorify the hustle. And then you got these AI tools. Y'all go over here to Cousin Chat. You go over there to Uncle Google. You jump over there in YouTube University, right? And so now you've got these simplified checklists. You got these checklists. Get your EIN. Get your articles of incorporation. Register at the state. Check, check, check. Put a board in place. Let me get my mother, my brother, my dog, my cat, my fish. Check. Get an address. Get an official address. Get an official phone number. Check, check, check. File the paperwork. Check. Start doing your program. Check. But what they did not tell you is that is not going to get you the funding. I want you to hear me now. That the belief that many of you have is that all I got to do is grind, all I got to do is hustle, all I have to do is just start, that other people have gotten these long grants. I just got to wait my turn. I just got to wait my turn. Maybe I should hire a grant writer. But let me tell you the truth. The funders, the donors, the supporters, the contributors, those capital issue authorities, your sponsors, they're not asking, do you care? That's not what they're asking. They're not asking about your passion. They're not asking about your story behind why you started. No. What they are asking is, can you manage and multiply public dollars responsibly? I'm going to say that again for the people in the bushes. They're not asking, do you care? They're not asking, how passionate are you? They're not asking, what happened to you and tell me your story. That's not what they're asking. They're asking, can you manage and multiply the public dollars responsibly? This is a completely different question. For those of you that are waiting for a grant, have you seen a grant application? What do they ask on that grant application? Do you have a budget? Where are your financials? Do you have a fundraising plan? What is your plan for sustainability? Who's on your board? Are you hearing what I'm saying? You think they're asking about what you started, your cause, these activities, right? Because you're trying to sell the activities. You're trying to get people to believe in the activities that you want to do. That's your belief. Your belief is my activities are going to attract donors. What I want to do is going to inspire people to give me money because I want to serve. I want to help. I want to benefit. But that's not what they're asking. They're asking, are you financially responsible? Tell me about your financials. Tell me what your budget is. How much does it cost to run this program in this organization? What you think that they're interested in is what you think qualifies you, your passion, what you want to do. And that is not true. Okay? That's a mindset. It's a mindset. You've got to unlearn what you have been either told or assumed or taught about what is a nonprofit. A nonprofit is not a hustle. It's not a hustle. It's not a hustle. It's not something that you can just start with no knowledge or experience of how to run it, how to sustain it, how to operate it. It is beyond your passion. It is not created from a checklist off Google or off Cousin Chat. And grants are not guaranteed. So if that's your mindset, I'm just telling you, that's why you're still stuck. Many of you also think that your legal status equals funding access. You believe, Jen, I got my articles of incorporation, I got my EIN, I got my 501c3 letter. Now I'm official, Jen. I'm all set up. I got my articles of incorporation, I got my EIN, I got my 501c3 letter, Jen. I'm all set up. I got my nonprofit set up, Jen. I'm official. I need a grant. Where's the money? And you treat your 501c3 status like it is some access card. Jen, I got my 501c3. Can I get a grant? Jen, I got my 501c3. I need donors. Jen, I got my 501c3. Can I get sponsors? Jen, I got my 501c3. Can I get partners? Jen, I got my 501c3. Can I get funding? Jen, is there a startup grant? Jen, is there some money for my organization? Because I got my 501c3. You treat your 501c3 like it's some type of access card, and it's not. Can I be honest with you? Can I tell you the truth? Can you handle the truth? Your 501c3 is not even a nonprofit, honey. For those of you that said, Jen, I started my nonprofit. I got my 501c3. Jen, I started my nonprofit. I got my 501c3. Can I be honest with you? A 501c3 is a tax classification. That's all it is. A 501c3 is a tax classification. It is a tax exempt classification. Now, again, some of y'all are going to have to unlearn what you've heard, what you've assumed, what's been implied. I just want you to know that a 501c3 is not a nonprofit organization. I'm going to say that again because I want y'all to come wake up. Wake up. A 501c3 is not a nonprofit organization. It is a tax classification. The classification, tax exempt, is your classification. It does not mean you have governance control. It does not mean you understand nonprofit accounting. It does not mean you have financial oversight. It does not mean you have sustainability. It does not mean you have donor systems. It does not mean that you know how to acquire donors and supporters and contributors. It does not mean that you have a budget or that you have ways to pay your expenses. It does not mean that you have a leadership system, plans, strategy. That's not what it means. It simply means you are tax exempt. That's it. Are you hearing me? Your 501c3 is not going to get you money. It is a tax exempt status. That's it. Now, I know nobody is talking about this. I know no one is telling it to you like this. I know everybody is hyping you up. Start a nonprofit. You can get a grant. You should just start. You should just start your nonprofit and, you just get your name out there. Just go and get your name out there. And because you are driven by your emotion, I just want to help. I just want to make a difference. I just want to do this in honor of. I just want to help people like me. Your emotion is what's driving you, not your organizational structure, which is why now you're paying for everything out of your pocket. And you have easily now fallen into the grant myth. You have been absorbed in the myth. The myth that says start a nonprofit and then apply for grants. Fill out the paperwork, get your 501c3, and now apply for grants. There's lots of grant money out there. It's easier if you start a nonprofit because you can get funding. You can get funding, Janet. You can get funding if you start a nonprofit. There's lots of funding out there. You don't have to repay the grant. You don't have to repay the grant. No, no. You start a nonprofit, you can get a grant. You can get funding. You can get donors. You can get sponsors. You can get contributors. All you gotta do is start. Let me tell you, this myth is perpetuated by YouTube ads promising millions in grant money. Millions in grant money. People who sell the service of writing grants. I'm a grant writer. I'm a grant writer. I can get you a grant. I can write your grant. And so then they oversimplify the funding. Oh yeah, you can get a grant. Oh yeah, yeah, I write grants. Oh yeah, I know I can research and get you lots of grant options. So they oversimplify the funding process. You might even go to cousin Google, or you might go to Uncle Chat, right? You may go over there to chat and you may ask AI to create some template, create some grant proposal for you. That's random, right? Cat Chat will write you out some amazing words and make you sound real official without any context. And so in your mind, you're thinking, oh my God, that was easy. Look at Chat. Chat wrote me a grant. Oh my God, Chat can write my grant proposal for me. Chat can write my program. Chat can do my budget. Chat can even write all the things that I need. Chat can do my grant research for me, all without context, right? So now you got all these words that cousin Chat wrote for you that you can't explain, that you can't execute, that you don't have the system or the structure to actually do what cousin Chat just wrote for you magically to do. But you don't think about that. You just think, oh my God, all I gotta do is put some words on some paper and then I'm gonna get a grant, right? Cousin Chat wrote the words for me. Grant writing ain't nothing but writing words. So Chat wrote all the words for me. Chat filled out that application for me. But how about you gotta have the systems, the tools, the knowledge, the experience to do what that thing told the funder you can do. Now you're confused. You're confused about what is sponsorship and what's a competitive grant. Now you're confused. Well, Jen, I need sponsors. Jen, what's the difference between grants and startup grants? Jen, what's the difference between operational grants and capacity building grants? And what many of you don't understand is that grants are investment tools. They are not startup capital for unstructured entities. I'm going to say that again for the people in the bushes. Grants are investment tools. Grants are not startup capital for unstructured organizations. They are not designed, nor do they have the capacity to underwrite and to support and sustain your entire operations. It's not possible. That's not what they're for. They are investment tools to leverage, to help you to build, but they expect you to have the systems, the strategies, the wherewithal to continue after their grant dollars have been spent. You get the grant, you spend the money. Now, where's the rest of the money coming from? For you to continue to operate. They are investment tools. They are not startup capital for unstructured entities. Am I making sense? Most grant funders, most foundations, most capital issuing authorities, they expect 1 to 3 years of operating history. Well, Jen, I'm just starting. How am I supposed to do this, Jen, if I'm just starting? If I'm just starting out, Jen, how am I supposed to get it off the ground? You're supposed to have a plan. You're supposed to have a structured plan to generate revenue from other places other than grants. Grants are not your only stream of revenue. Grants are one of 15 streams of revenue. You are not supposed to rely on grants. Jen, I can't start until I get a grant. I'm just waiting on a grant, Jen. If I got a grant, my whole organization would change. If I got a grant, oh my God. It would just mean everything. If I just got a grant, whew, my life would be so much easier, Jen, if I got a grant. If I could just get a grant. If I could just get a grant that would pay for everything. Mm. They're not intended to pay for everything. Well, Jen, I heard that there was an organization and they got thousands and thousands of dollars, Jen, in grant money. And what happened when those grant monies were gone? Where'd that money come from? How'd they replace that money? We see it right now. We see it right now for those organizations that were relying heavily on government grants. And now that those government grants are gone, they can't keep their doors open. They can't keep their doors open. They can't pay salaries. They can't continue the program. Why? Because they was hoping them grants would never end, honey. They didn't put together plans or structures or strategies to sustain the work. Let me stay focused. Most funders expect 1 to 3 years of operating history. They expect financial statements. They expect that you have board governance. They expect that you know how to measure outcomes. They expect that you have diverse revenue streams. You have 15 streams of revenue. They expect that you have revenue diversity, that you're not relying on grants or that you're not paying for everything out of your pocket. They expect that you have evidence of community support. You are a community-based organization. Let me say that again. You are a community-based organization. Where is there evidence that your community supports this work? Now, let me tell you this. No one told you this before you filed the paperwork. No one told you what I'm telling you before you filed the paperwork. Because many of you thought that the paperwork meant I'm all set up, I'm all organized, I got everything, the paperwork. Let me say this. This right here is the most dangerous assumption. The most dangerous assumption that many of you believe is that my program is my nonprofit. I'm going to say that again. The most dangerous assumption that many of you believe is that my program is my nonprofit. And it's not. Your program is an output. What you put out is the program. A nonprofit is a regulated public financial entity that operates programs. I'm going to say that again. A program is the output, right? What you put out into the community. You're feeding the homeless, output. You're mentoring youth, output. Your transitional house, output. Right? You're giving out clothes to those that need a job, output. Activity. That which you show and give and distribute to the community. What you put out is the program, the mentoring, the feeding, Those are activities. The transitional house, that's activity. A nonprofit organization, which is what you started, is a regulated public financial entity that operates the program, but it is not the program. The organization, the nonprofit organization, it is not, I have a nonprofit program. No, it's a nonprofit organization. The organization requires, because you are a regulated public financial entity, the organization requires governance. It requires a governance structure. It requires financial management. It requires compliance tracking. It requires donor cultivation, risk management, a revenue model, policies and procedures. It requires that. That has nothing to do with program. That has nothing to do with your output. And you have built the output. You got your 501c3, which you think is a nonprofit, and it's not. It's just a tax exempt status. This is why it's dangerous. So you got your 501c3, and then you start doing the output work. My program, my passion, because that's what you're emotionally tied to. So now you have put a financial strain, because that output, those feedings, the clothing, the mentoring, the ministering, the after school programs, the helping the homeless, the providing job readiness, all of that costs money, right? So you automatically now start with the program because you believe that the program is the nonprofit organization. So now you get your piece of paper and you start with the output. Put output in the chat. You start with the output, which is where the money goes. All your money, materials, supplies, equipment, space, staff to run the program, gas, all the things to do the output cost money. So now you started with a piece of paper that is a tax exempt status, and then you start doing the output, the program. And now you've put a what? Financial strain. The organization is not set up to manage it though, because you didn't set up the organization. You created and built the output without building the engine, which is the organization to support the output. You didn't put that together. And then now you wonder why you stuck. Jen, I'm stuck. Jen, I don't have donors. Jen, how do I get funding? Jen, I'm doing everything by myself. Jen, I don't have board members. Jen, I don't know how to find board members. Jen, I don't have a budget. Jen, I'm exhausted. I want you to know that many of you spend $5,000 to $10,000 out of your pocket. This is an important part. You have spent anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 out of your pocket on logos, on websites, on events, on flyers, on t-shirts, on supplies, on space, on gas, on registering at the state, on paying the IRS. Why? You have spent $5,000 to $10,000 to start to start that output, to start that program, to start getting your name out there, to just start hustling in this program and trying to get attention to this program. Why? Because you believed that once I start funding grants, donations, sponsors would be just around the corner. You think if I can just look legitimate, if I can just show activity, that once the funder sees we're doing the work, they're going to support us. Once I can show that my program works, once they hear my passion, once they understand what I'm trying to do, then they will give me money. Am I right or no? So you don't put all this money into this output. You ain't put no money in the engine, honey. You put all the money in the output because nobody talked about the engine. Nobody said the engine. Nobody mentioned the engine. You don't know because you never worked in a nonprofit. So now you done got this thing cranking, and every year you're more desperate. Oh my God, I've been doing this thing for a year. I can't stop now. I've been doing this thing for 2 years. I can't stop now. I've been doing this thing for 3 years. I can't stop now. I got to make it work. It's got to work. I got to hustle more. Maybe I should change my mission. Maybe I should change my program. Maybe I need a new board. No, what you need is to build out that organization. That's all you need is to build the organization. That's what's missing. That's why you stuck. Because the donor, the funder, the supporter, the contributor, they're not interested in your hustle. They're not looking at your output, your passion. No, they're looking at, is this organization set up? Is this organization mature? Does this organization have financial management? Is there a plan for sustainability? That's what they're asking for. Let me say this: hustle is not a financial control. I'm going to say that again. Your hustle, honey, your hustle and no knowledge. Your hustle is not a financial control system. Now, I'm going to say this again. A nonprofit organization is a regulated public financial entity. It is not your output. It is not your hustle. Let me say this, and then I'm going to let y'all go. AI and these social platforms have made information very accessible. All right. Now, I use AI, but I know how to run organizations without AI. I've been doing this work for 40 years. I've been raising money for thousands of organizations before there was an AI, before there was a website, before there was an internet, before there was a cell phone, before there was a Google. I've been raising money for nonprofit organizations for 40 years. And so there is a use for the tools. However, AI and these platforms where you go in and you get little bits and pieces of information, right? Um, and that's all they provide. They provide pieces of information, they provide templates, they provide checklists, they provide samples. However, they do not provide sequence. I'm going to say that again. They do not provide sequence. How do we know they don't provide sequence? Because you've asked AI and Google, how do I start a nonprofit? And AI said, register at the state, checklist, register at the state, get an EIN number, get a bank account, fill out the 1023 form. Now, they have not explained the difference between the easy and the long form. It just gives you a checklist, right? So you're just following the checklist. And you don't know that it's not giving you the right sequence. You don't know that. You just letting it tell you what to do. You're letting AI tell you how to set up your organization that you don't know how to run. Now that it's set up, AI said, do it in this order. This is the checklist. You did the checklist, but now I'm stuck. Now I don't know how to get unstuck. Now I'm paying for everything out of my pocket. Now I don't know what to do next. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So you go out and you start collecting these templates, right? You got the bylaw template, you got a grant template, you got a fundraising email, you got a board job description. You got all this stuff that you done collected, but no understanding of what comes first, of what connects, of what funders evaluate, of what risk you carry. You're like assembling IKEA furniture without instructions. Y'all out here assembling. Let me just put this together. Let me do this. I got a checklist here. I got a fundraising plan. Jen, I got a business plan, but I don't know how to work it. I got a business plan, Jen. AI wrote me a business plan. I got me a grant template, Jen, but I don't know what to do next. Jen, Chat gave me a budget. Chat gave me what this thing should cost, but I don't know how to raise the money. I don't know how to evaluate the expenses. I don't know how much this thing is supposed to cost every single month, every single week, every single day. Jen, I don't know that there were 15 streams of revenue. I didn't know, Jen, that I had 15 streams of revenue. I didn't know that. But I got a business plan. But I got my 501c3, but I got my board policies, I got my mother, my brother, my dog, my cat, my fish on my board, but they're not helping me and I don't know how to help them help me. Y'all are like assembling IKEA furniture without instructions. And the truth is, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know why you stuck. You don't know how to get unstuck. You don't know what to do first. You don't know how to fix that to make it work right. You don't know. Can we be honest? Can you just be honest? For those of you that like to get in my inbox and say, Jen, I need a grant. I need a grant. You're not going to get a grant. And I don't want to take your money. How about that? I can write you a grant. I can write grants all day long. I've written hundreds of millions of dollars in grants. I am a professional grant writer. Yeah, I can write you a grant. I know you're not going to get it, but that's not my problem, right? It's not my problem that I know you're not going to get it. You want me to write your grant? Pay me, I'll write the grant. Are you going to get the grant? Absolutely not. I know you're not going to get it. But you didn't pay me to run your organization. Jen, you should have told me. You should have told me what to do, Jen. You should have told me that this is what I needed. You should have told me that I should have done this first. No, you should know how to run your nonprofit organization. You started it. You hired me to write the grant application, not run your organization. That's you. That's not me. That's you. But I know you don't know. I know you don't know. Because if you knew, you would not be waiting on a grant. I'm going to say that again. If you knew, you would not be waiting on a grant. If you knew you would not spend money on a grant writer, you would spend your money setting up this organization to generate the 15 streams of revenue that come in before and after the grant. Now, I know you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. But if you knew, most of you've never worked inside a nonprofit. You've never read a Form 990. You've never managed restricted funds. You've never sat through a board review. You've never prepared a financial audit. You've never built a revenue mix strategy. You've never done that. So you assume I can figure it out. I can figure it out. Cousin Chat can do it for me. I want to tell you the truth. Nonprofit infrastructure is regulatory. It is not your passion. The nonprofit infrastructure is regulatory. You have to account for the money that comes in from the public. It is not an option. Now, nobody's told you that. That nonprofit infrastructure is regulatory by the federal government. It's financial. It is governance driven. It is not intuitive. For those of you that have said, Jen, I started my nonprofit, but my nonprofit lapsed. It lapsed, Jen, because we didn't fill out the paperwork. We didn't do the paperwork, Jen. Yeah, we didn't know how to do the paperwork. We didn't want to do the paperwork. We forgot about the paperwork. And so they suspended our status. And so now we got to go back in and get it reinstated. Why'd you got to get it reinstated? Because it's regulated. Because it's regulated. It's not intuitive. All right. So listen, when you don't set this thing up right, when you don't set up the organization, the administrative entity, all you focus on is the outputs. This is what happens. You experience burnout. You feel like you're doing everything by yourself. You experience financial strain. You're paying for everything out of your own pocket. You feel embarrassment when the donor and the funder asks for documents. Am I right? You feel embarrassment. So now you don't want to feel that embarrassment. So now you don't want to, it'd be easier just to do it yourself. Cause I don't like asking for money. I don't like, I don't feel confident when I'm talking to them. So, because I feel embarrassment when they ask me for documents that I don't have. No, I don't have financials. No, I don't have a budget. No, I don't have a sustainability plan. No, I don't have any of those things. And I feel now embarrassed because I don't have those things. I'm just going to do everything out of my own pocket. I'm just going to do everything myself because, I don't have time. I don't have time and I don't like the way that makes me feel. So, yeah. Now you're getting grant denials. Jen, I've written grants. I've written grants. I can't get a grant, Jen. I've tried it on my own. I've written several grants and been denied. Jen, my board is not engaged. Jen, I had a donor. I had some donors, but then they stopped giving. They were giving for a while and then they stopped giving. Um, I'm afraid. I'm afraid to fill out this IRS stuff. I'm afraid to fill out this 990. I'm afraid that I'm gonna do something wrong when I'm filing this paperwork. Now you're experiencing cash flow crisis. We don't have enough money to operate, Jen. We don't have enough money to keep our program going, right? So now you experience all these things. And you're asking and you're wondering, why is this so hard? This is hard. Jen, this is hard. I mean, like, I have been struggling. I've been trying to do this thing, but it is so hard. Why is it so hard? Because you only built a program. You did not build the organization. You didn't. Listen, starting a nonprofit does not mean launching a program. It means building a regulated public financial entity that operates a program. That is a completely different responsibility that many of you never knew about. No one told you, right? And you've been wondering yourself, I hear all the time people say to me, Jen, I wish I'd met you 10 years ago. I wish I'd met you 5 years ago. I wish I'd met you, Jen, before I started my nonprofit organization. Consider me a hidden figure. Consider me a hidden figure, honey. I've been out here in these streets working with thousands of organizations, trying to help them build their sustainability structure, helping them put their organizations together. I'm a hidden figure, okay? I'm out in the open now. But I just want you to know that starting a nonprofit is not the same as launching a program. Your nonprofit organization is a regulated public financial entity that operates the program. It is not the program. And this is a completely different responsibility than many of you knew about. And you are not failing, you are not stuck because your mission isn't worthy. Okay? You're not stuck, you're not failing because you're not smart, because you're not bright, because you're not passionate. That's not why you're stuck. You're struggling because no one taught you the infrastructure side. No one taught you the organizational, operational side. They only talked about the program. And the infrastructure is what attracts the funding, not your program, not your output, not your passion. It's your infrastructure that attracts the funding. Nobody talks about that. That's the invisible part. And for many of you, you've put that off. You've put off the infrastructure work because you're like, oh my gosh, that's not emotional work. That work is not fun. That work is not exciting. That work, I'll do that later. You've put that off. You've avoided the infrastructure work. I know I need a board, Jen, but I don't know how to find a board. So I'll put that off later. I know, Jen, that I'm supposed to raise money, but I don't know how to raise money. So I'll put that off. I know, Jen, that I'm supposed to, do program reports, but I just don't have time for that. I don't have time for that, Jen. So I'm gonna put that off, right? I'm doing everything by myself, and I know I should have a plan and a process to delegate, but that's administrative work. I'll put that off. I'll put that off. I don't want to do that right now because I'm focused all my time on this program, all my time and all my energy on this output. I don't have time to do that administrative stuff, Jen. I don't have time to put this structure together. I don't have time to put these plans together. I don't have time to put these strategies together. I don't have time to put these financial systems in together. I don't have time to put it in the right order. I don't have time to be ready to answer these questions for these funders. I don't have time to put that stuff together. That just takes too much time. I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. I'm too busy doing this program. And that's why you're stuck. That's why you're stuck. And if you're ready to stop operating in year one, you have two options. I have a program, a 3-day nonprofit summit in Houston, May 6th through the 8th, where we will walk through the structure, the sequence, the governance, the financial systems, the fundraising, and the readiness for your organization. We're going to do all that stuff that you've put off doing together. All right? May 6th, 7th, and 8th, I will help you put all that stuff together. Without it, you're going to stay stuck and you're going to continue to pay for this thing out of your pocket. Guaranteed. All right? That's one option. The second option is if you need implementation support. My team and I can build your administrative entity correctly for you so that you can stop guessing and start operating like a fundable organization. You can start operating like an organization that a funder can trust. You can start putting and executing the fundraising strategies that you are designed to function in. Those are your only two options. Why? Because the public's money, while you may think it's free, Jen, I can get a grant, right? I don't have to pay it back. I have to pay a grant back, right, Jen? Because you think it's free money. It's the public's money. And it requires accountability. That grant funder is going to want to report. That grant funder is going to want to know how much does it cost to run and operate your program. They're not just passing out money to anybody who's a nonprofit. No, public money comes with accountability. And accountability requires structure. And many of you are stuck right now because you don't have structure. You don't have structure. You skipped all of that. And every day that you continue to do this program, every day that you continue to do this program, every day that you continue to do this program without structure, you are putting more strain on your organization's capacity to respond. You're weakening your organization's positioning because you didn't put that together properly. Those are your only two options. There are no other options. You can't hustle your way into being funded. You can't hustle your way. You can't guess your way into that. It's a structure. It is a predictable structure. You have predictable expenses. You then have a predictable structure to raise the money to pay for those expenses. It's the structure. It's the infrastructure. It's the systems that you all didn't put together. Not your fault. You did not know. No one talks about it. No one talks about it. And usually that's because the people that you are trying to listen to have never run a nonprofit, have never started a nonprofit, have never raised funds for a nonprofit, have never led a nonprofit. They just write grants. That's all they do. They just fill out paperwork. That's all they do. They just talk about boards. That's all they do. They don't put together the structure of your organizations so that those pieces can work together in the system and in the sequence that operates and produces the revenue. Your paperwork, your 501(c)(3) paperwork says you have a plan, you have a structure, you have a system to generate revenue for the next 3 to 4 years. Your organization infrastructure is designed to generate the money for the next 3 to 4 years. That's what the paperwork says. But y'all skipped all of that. You skipped all of that and went straight to output, went straight to program. I didn't put that together. I don't have time to put that together. I don't want to put that together, Jen. I don't like doing that work. I don't like doing it. I don't like the paperwork. I don't like dealing with people. I don't like talking in front of people. I don't like networking. I don't trust anybody. I don't like board members. I don't like any of that stuff that deals with the organization. And that's why you stuck. All right, I'm done. Thank you all so very much for listening. Listen, if you are ready and you say, Jen, you've been talking to me, honey, you have stepped all over my feet. You have read my book. You have talked about me shamelessly. But now I understand why I'm stuck. And if all I got to do is put together the organization, then I'm ready to do that. The truth is this: because you only put together the output, the program, you have cost the organization upwards of $300,000 a year in lost revenue potential. Did you hear what I said? You have cost the organization upwards of $300,000 in lost revenue potential. Why? Because you weren't set up. I don't have a budget. You weren't getting the grants. You don't have a fundraising strategy. You're not generating the 15, 16 streams of revenue. You're doing everything by yourself. And so now you don't have the money to scale, to raise more money. You've put all of your investment into that output. No problem. The quickest way to get that money back is to set up that organization. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now, when you're ready, I'm here to help. Okay? When you are ready, I'm here to help. My name is Jennifer. I am your nonprofit expert. 40 years of experience helping organizations put together the plans, the strategies, the systems, and the tools that they need to operate, to scale, and to be financially responsible for the public's money. Money is not your problem. Money is not your problem. You are set up to receive the public's money. You just got to set it up to receive the public's money. All right? You are fundable by design. You are designed to generate the revenue, your organization. When you're ready to set that up, let me know. All right? 2 options, May 6th, 7th, and 8th. Those 3 days, I will do it with you. If you say, Jen, I want you and your team to do it for me. I want you guys to handle it. I want you all to do it. And then my team and I show you how to run it, show you how to operate it. Then you don't need me anymore. You don't need me anymore. Let me tell you another real truth before I let you go. Most grant writers won't tell you that the grant by itself is not going to support or sustain your organization. If they told you that, you likely wouldn't hire them. I'm not slamming a grant writer because I'm one, right? But the truth is this: while you're waiting on the grant, your organization should be bringing in the money from the other streams of revenue, from those other pathways of money coming in. So you're not waiting on a grant. You have other money coming in. Before the grant, after the grant, while the grant's coming in, you got money coming in. Why? Because the grant is not designed to underwrite your entire operations. You've got to have other money coming in, right? So once my team and I put your organizational structure together, you won't need me anymore. You'll be able to operate, you'll be set up to bring in those streams of revenue, and that work will be done for you. That work that you don't like to do, that work you don't want to do, that work you don't know how to do, my team and I will do it for you. All right. We'll have you up and running in less than 30 days. 30 days, we will have your organizational entity set up and we will oversee it with you so that you know how it works. And then you're on your own. You can do it, right? You can do it. You won't need it. You won't need me anymore. All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for those of you that have shared, liked, and followed. And thank you for being a part of this amazing community. I love the nonprofit space. And I would love to work with some of you that are ready to move your organization from being in that 1 year space to now being able to grow, expand, and sustain the work that you want to do. That's very important work. All right. I'll see you guys next time.